So how is it going, Dank Division? Dank Dan here, and I can't believe we're kind of skipping ahead and focusing instead on Call of Duty 2024. Now, why exactly are we focusing on this? It is because someone decided to leak a shit ton of information about the next Call of Duty. Now, take everything with a grain of salt because, let's face it, any of this is subject to change. All of it could be true, none of it could be true. It could be true right now and then get changed as time progresses. So we're going to go in order from campaign to multiplayer to zombies to lastly Warzone, as well as a potential release date. So let's dive in. The first thing that is mentioned is when this game would be taking place. Now, it's already been rumored, and this rumor only further is confirmed with this leak, is that it takes place during the Gulf War. So this would be pretty much right after the fall of the Soviet Union. And supposedly the returning characters would be Adler, Sims, Woods, Mason, Park, because sadly Park's death is not canon, and would feature the new character, that of course being Ratcliffe, which if you guys look on screen, you had this guy who earlier today pretty much posted, hey, they're using me for this character named Ratcliffe for an upcoming game. Yeah, that's the face of the protagonist of the campaign, and the campaign is going to continue the storyline that we had in Black Ops Cold War involving Perseus. It is also said that Noriega, Menendez, and the Red Doors are to be included. Now, not much else is known about the campaign other than that, but seeing as how we have the name Ratcliffe, that hints at someone who actually does exist by the name of Peter Ratcliffe, who was in the British Army and served during the Gulf War during something called Victor II, which involved going behind enemy lines. And let's just say there's an entire book dedicated to it. You're gonna want to take a look at that. So more importantly, let's now talk multiplayer, shall we? So currently at the moment, 12 6v6 maps at launch, with Nuketown launching soon after the release. You have it ranked plays planned, apparently for Season 1. Some of the maps that are supposed to be included are Hangar 24, Kuwait City, Summit, as well as Canals, which is supposed to be a remake of Frost from the BO2 DLC 4. You have the classic score streak system, which, similar to what we saw in Cold War, means that as you're getting kills, you'll have it that you can earn it from playing the objective, to getting kills, to even getting assists. This will also be apparently the first Black Ops game to have tactical sprint, because Cold War of course didn't have that, but looks like we're going to be continuing having tac sprint. Apparently, the Mastery camo for multiplayer is supposed to look like the Storm camo that was handed out in Black Ops 3 in the supply drops. Now let's get into the topic that I'm more interested in, because this was my bread and butter. This was how I leveled up so quickly in Black Ops Cold War and completed battle passes while enjoying myself. And that of course would be zombies. Supposedly at launch, there are going to be 2 maps. The first of which is going to be an island map, which will be based on Outbreak. Now Outbreak in the past was separate maps all taking place in the Ural Mountains and was spread out all over the place. This time around, supposedly Outbreak will be on one large scale map. The second map is supposed to be old school round based and be a remake of Kino der Toten from Black Ops 1. Both maps will include a main Easter egg quest at launch, and what's better yet is supposedly the Mastery camo for zombies this time around is an animated weaponized 115 camo that switches colors. Now we get into the Warzone side. Now, do you guys remember when Black Ops Cold War was coming out and we had the original Verdansk? There was the talk of a map, and we all remember the image that we saw. It was blurry as all hell, and it was the Ural Mountains. Now, that was pretty much information dropped, and then COVID hit. COVID hit and destroyed any chance of that map dropping. So what exactly happened with those assets? Those assets ended up being used for Cold War Fireteam, as well as the Outbreak mode and other areas, to pretty much give people a chance to play the map, and it made it easier to use those assets. The going rumor, going off of these leaks, is that map, the Ural Mountains map, which here's a crude drawing so that you can use this for reference of what the map layout is supposed to be. So if you guys remember playing Outbreak or playing Fire Team on Cold War, then you already know the layout of this map if it's actually going to go that way. This also means that the story of the map is supposedly that there are Perseus bunkers built into the Ural Mountains. I'll even go out and say that without even reading any further into the leaks, that if they decided to do a zombies crossover in this new potential Warzone map, that it makes a ton of sense. Why? Because we all remember the Outbreak Easter egg. We know that there is the bunker that's in the one spot that you can that you were able to explore, and that was part of one of the major Easter eggs. There's also various other spots. I mean, hell, you had all of Outbreak took place in the Ural Mountains, leaving it open for you to pretty much have the potential of zombies still remaining around, maybe even having some Dark Ether strongholds, and even having potentially around October the zombies coming back. Now, lastly is the slated release date. Apparently, the slated release date as of right now is October 18th of 2024. Now, as I said at the very beginning of this video, and I cannot say it enough, take all of this with a grain of salt. Why? Because right now it is the middle of 2023. We haven't even gotten Call of Duty 2023 yet. Like I said, all of this could be true. None of this could be true. Some of it could be true. Some of this could change depending on everything that happens, whether or not Treyarch starts to fall behind or if they happen to be ahead of schedule. That number of 6v6 maps could change. The number of zombies maps could change. The campaign could get reworked. We don't know yet. But with that being said, I want to hear in the comment section down below, what are your thoughts on these leaks? What are you hoping is true? What are you hoping is false? And above all else, can Treyarch really miss? I mean that in the most genuine way. From World at War, all 4 Black Ops games, regardless of the fact that Black Ops 4 didn't have a campaign, even though that was probably the weakest out of the Black Ops games, and yes, I know, I just said that instead of saying Cold War, can they really miss? So with that being said, I'm looking forward to reading that comment section down below. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment down below, as well as click that subscribe button, as well as follow us on all of our socials. And you guys have a wonderful day, night, whatever you're doing. Do it wholeheartedly. And this is Dank Dan, signing off.
Get them to click that subscribe button, Dick. It's the only way we can figure out the numbers. What do the numbers mean, Dick? We're wasting valuable time.